Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another video on ForgottenWeapons.com. I'm Ian McCollum, and I'm here today at Guns.com taking a look at some of the particularly cool guns that they have in their warehouse. And today we've pulled out a CZ Bren 2 MS to check out. This is the civilian semi-automatic version of the Bren 2 military rifle. Now, I did a video on the military pattern of the Bren 2 a couple of years ago when I visited CZ, and that was a cool video, but I thought it would be worth taking a look at this one as well, just to show you the differences between the military and the civilian patterns, because there are a few, and they're kind of interesting differences, some of them. Now, the Bren 2 has also gotten back into the news a bit of late, with the publication of a deal between Czechia and Ukraine, where Ukraine is going to be getting a license to manufacture the Bren 2 rifle. A while back, I think 2021, they purchased something like 12,000 Bren 2s for military service. Obviously, Ukraine is looking for future membership in NATO. That's going to mean, among other things, requiring a 5.56 caliber military rifle. So it makes sense between that and other Western support for the Ukrainian military these days that they would be looking to acquire rifles primarily in NATO calibers for basically future compatibility. The Bren 2 has proved to be a fairly successful rifle on the international market. It was adopted by the Czech military, which really isn't a big surprise given the manufacture by CZ and the collaborations between CZ and the Czech military, but it was also adopted by Hungary, where it beat out the Polish Grot in trials as a new service rifle. The Hungarian military is not a trivial one. CZ is picking up more customers with this, and with this recent announcement, they will also be manufactured under license in Ukraine. So we will certainly be seeing more of them being equipped with Ukrainian military units in the future. Anyway, let's take a closer look at this, and let me show you what it has in common with the military version, what's changed, and what they held over, interestingly, from the original Bren 805 pattern.
Today's video is generously sponsored by Guns.com. Not only do they have their own warehouse full of cool, new, and collectible stuff, like the gun that we're filming there today, but they also do purchasing. So if you have that gun lying around that maybe isn't as interesting to you as you thought it would be when you got it, or something that you've outgrown, or just something that you need to flip to make some cash for some other expenses, well, consider Guns.com. They have a program they call We Buy Guns at guns.com/we-buy-guns that makes the whole process of selling to them very simple. Just fill out an online form with a couple questions about make, model, and condition, snap a couple of photos with your phone, upload it to them, and they will get back to you lickety-split with an offer for the piece. If you like it, they send you a prepaid shipping label, drop the gun in the mail, and get your cash. You don't have to deal with online auction fees. You don't have to deal with trying to find a good local gun shop that'll consign it to a small group of local people. It's potentially an outstanding option for you. And it means that there's always some new, interesting pre-owned stuff cycling through the Guns.com warehouse for either you to get or perhaps me to film. So let's get back to today's video.
The semi-auto version of the Bren 2 has some good, some bad, and some kind of just weird as far as its comparison to the military rifle. So the mechanical action itself is identical. It's all the same stuff as the military gun, which is great. The lower assembly, all these parts are the same, the stock's the same. The fire control group, of course, is semi-automatic only. So you've got a selector switch here that's blocked, safe, and single shot. We don't need to go over all of the details of the Bren 2 today. You can see that in my military video, but the controls are also all the same. So completely ambidextrous. You've got the somewhat unorthodox bolt hold open and release lever inside the trigger guard, just like on the military version. The most obvious visual difference from the military pattern guns is this M-LOK front handguard. And by the way, the front grip here is an aftermarket part that the previous owner of this particular gun added to it. This is not normally part of the Bren 2 as it's sold. But the M-LOK handguard on the civilian models, this is the MS, essentially modular handguard version of the gun, that replaces the original style of solid handguard that had Picatinny rail sections on it. And while that is, I mean, if your goal is to exactly duplicate a military configuration, that's not ideal. But for basically any other application, this is a really nice handguard to have. It's convenient, it's lighter than the original handguard, it doesn't have big chunks of random rail sticking off of it, and it's a nice improvement. The barrel has been extended, so this is just over a 16-inch barrel in order to maintain legal status without being an SBR. Now, CZ USA does sell these as pistols with short barrels, but the military configuration, of course, is a carbine with a stock, and if I remember correctly, a 14-inch barrel. So the barrel's a little longer than the military, which is understandable for legal reasons. What's not as understandable or appealing to me is the fact that they also put a much heavier profile barrel on this than they did on the military guns. Yeah, that's a chunky barrel there, and frankly, I don't really like that. I'd much rather have a lighter profile barrel. Improves the balance, improves the handling of the whole gun. And then the weird element, well, maybe not so weird, but the carbine versions, as sold by CZ USA, come with this rather complicated looking muzzle brake on them. The pistol versions have a flash hider. It's a 3-prong sort of helical flash hider, and it's the flash hider that's actually used on the military versions of the Bren 2. This flash hider, or this muzzle brake that they put on the MS carbine, is actually the same muzzle brake that was on the original Bren 805. Which they got rid of. Like, they deliberately changed it out to a 3-prong curved muzzle flash hider. So part of me wonders if CZ overproduced these muzzle brakes and decided to put them on some of the civilian guns just like to get them out of inventory. Either way, it's interesting. This is like an authentic CZ brake. It's not a weird commercial brake that kind of got slapped onto this gun. It's the brake from the Bren 805. That's the fact that they use it here, though, is a bit odd. It's also kind of cool that these guns actually come with folding iron sights. A lot of rifles like this these days are shipped without sights of any kind. Like, they have a Picatinny rail, everyone figures you're going to put your own optic of choice on them, so there's no point in spending the money to put on iron sights. Well, CZ did. So we've got a folding front sight there, got a folding 2-aperture rear sight, and what's kind of cool is these are Troy manufactured sights. These are, again, the exact same sights that CZ originally used on the Bren 805. Now, with 807 military production, they brought the sight manufacturer in-house, and they replaced the Troy sights with their own make of a functionally identical sight. But for whatever reason, the Bren 2 MS semi-auto carbines come with Troy manufactured iron sights. So that's a really cool thing for sort of a military clone basis, because you're getting the proper exact right model of sort of aftermarket, OEM rear sight. And one other cool factor that I'll throw in here to round this out is that this comes with a CZ magazine. Now, this is sized to use totally standard AR magazines. So anything will fit. Your PMags, your original aluminum AR mags, whatever you got, they'll work. But CZ makes their own magazines for sale and supply with Brens that they sell to other countries, and they have a viewing window on the back. So we've got 3 marks here for 5, 15, and 25 rounds. So you can see as the follower goes down, there's the white section. I'm just pushing the follower down with my finger there. But instead of a Magpul style big window on the side that just shows you the stack of cartridges, you've got a small window here calibrated with those. So I think that's pretty cool. And again, if you want a military clone, well, that's the magazine you would want, and it comes with the gun instead of you having to try and go source it through some obscure way of finding, foreign manufacturer magazines. For shooters, the Bren 2 is a very nice rifle. It's reliable, it's durable, it's easy to work with. Like, there's really not much bad to say about it. And to be fair, there's not necessarily a whole lot of advantage that it has over other rifles in this sort of market area. That's for shooters. For collectors, I think there's a cool opportunity here with this and with a few other rifles. When guns are made by companies that have the ability to sell their product in the United States by having like a US affiliate or a US branch that can deal with parts counts and 922 and making this sort of thing available to the US civilian market, there's a cool opportunity to actually pick up a semi-auto version of a currently serving military rifle. This is the sort of thing that we had in the 1980s, and import bans took a lot of that off the US market. And today, you'll see that those pre-ban, 1980s import military rifles, things like HK-33s, HK-G3s, FNCs, original Steyr AUGs, FAMAS, all of those rifles have gotten massively valuable because their importation was restricted. And it's really cool to have the opportunity to pick up what is essentially that same sort of gun today because of brands that are manufactured. They're taking the effort to make their guns legally available in the United States. And the CZ Bren 2 is a really cool example of that. You want to build a cool clone of a currently serving military rifle, this is one of the neat options that you have. Anyway, I thought it'd be good to look at the differences between the military and the semi-auto versions. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. You're still here at this point, so you probably did. Anyway, thanks for watching.